it is time to go over Week 15, give our preview and predictions for Week 15 in the NFL. The season, Al, is definitely winding down.
We are in the home stretch, brother. We are in the home stretch. They are coming around the bend, and
Yep.
it is time to separate the winners from the losers, man. It is go time.
And there's some really good games this week, and we're going to get into all of them. Every team, every game, every week. And we're going to start this week with an interesting one. Both teams coming off a win, a fairly impressive win for both teams as well. Rams at Niners. And it's in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? You're supposed to be doing this. My
Oh,
bad.
that's right. I forgot. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, you'll do the next one. That's fine.
All good.
So you want to give me your thoughts on Niners Rams?
Sure. So this is a tricky one, man, because you got two teams that have been super up and down all year. Um, you have both of them coming off I mean, I don't think it's not arguable with the Rams. It's arguable with the 49ers, their best performances of the year. Um, and it's a tough one to call. It's a really tough one to call. I'll tell you what, this is my last stand on the Rams. I'm picking the Rams on the road. They're 2.5-point underdogs, and I'm taking them 28-24. If they don't win, I'm out on them, and it's just the Seahawks in that division.
Wow. Well, I say wow because I landed on the same spot.
Get it. I thought for sure we'd be different on that one. That's awesome.
No, I'm going with the Rams. They've been more impressive. The Niners have been so unimpressive up until last week, and I think that was more about Chicago than it was about the Niners.
Yeah.
They've lost another player here, another running back. I know they keep churning them out, and they're still good, but I think that's going to catch up to them eventually. And the Rams are got to be flying high off of that win against Buffalo last week. So you had 28-24. Is that the
Hey,
score you
Craig, I'm
had?
so sorry, bud. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Real quick, you just broke up a big long chunk there. I know the
Oh,
viewers will be able to hear you, but I couldn't hear you for about 7 seconds.
okay, no worries. I said, the Rams have to be pretty pumped up for how they played in Buffalo,
Mm-hmm.
and the Niners are just not I think that was more about the Bears than it was the Niners, and they
Completely
keep
agree.
losing. Yeah, they keep losing these running backs, and eventually, I think it's going to catch up to them.
Yes.
It's so I'm going Rams as well. And you had 28-24, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had 26-24.
Get out of town.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
So 26-24 Rams, 28-24 Rams. Okay, you can take over now the rest of the way.
All right,
Go
my
ahead.
man. We'll start on Sunday at 1 with the Commanders at the Saints. What do you think about that one?
Well, the Commanders, they went through that bad stretch. They're definitely not like a real Super Bowl threat, but they're going to be a playoff team.
Yep.
And now they're getting some of these games that are very winnable games. They had that game a week or two ago where we said they have to win this game. They needed to right the ship, and they did.
Yep.
And I think the Saints now. Derek Carr's not playing. You got to go Washington here, even on the road. I can't imagine them. I mean, I can't imagine the Saints doing much of anything really with Carr out. So I'm going Washington, pretty comfortable, 27-17. And yeah, I think that's the best word I can use for Washington in this game. Just a comfortable win.
Yeah, I love that description. I agree with everything you said all the way through. I don't see how the Saints have much to offer for them here. I mean, Alvin Kamara has been incredible for a terrible team, and he's about all they have.
Yep.
um, and the Washington's too good a team to lose to one man. So I'm with you. And for the second game in a row, we're going to be similar, 31-17, Washington.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that funny?
2 games in a row, we had the losing team with the same score.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, and I couldn't think of how to say it. So thank you for covering for me. Awesome. All right. Now, we're going to test our theory on this team that we just talked about a lot in the last episode. Chiefs at Browns.
Well, we've been saying, and if you missed last episode, shame on you.
That's right.
But but we were saying that the Chiefs, I don't care who they play, it's going to be a close game at this point. You got to pick them to win, but you got to pick a close game. Cleveland is the type of team where I think they can win by a little more than 3. It still should be, more of a blowout, but I have them winning by 7, by 1
Okay.
touchdown. I
Now,
have it,
does
but
it make you nerve? I'm sorry, Craig. Please continue. I'm so sorry.
no, 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 no. Well, real quick, I was just wrapping up anyway with my score. My score is 20-13 because I gave respect on the defenses, the defense of Cleveland is not that great, but let's face it, Kansas City's offense is not that great. So give them 20, and then Kansas City's defense, you know, puts Cleveland, down pretty bad. Only 13 points. So 20-13 for Kansas City.
Love it. Now, would it make you sweat a little bit if I told you that the point spread is Chiefs minus 6.5? So you just picked the Chiefs to cover.
Uh,
Isn't
it does. It
that
does.
funny?
I'm gonna stick with it, but yeah, they don't cover, so I don't know why. But you know what though? Vegas is smart because if this was like Cleveland against another most other 11 or 12-1 teams, it'd be a much bigger point spread.
Oh, and it was with the Chiefs against similar teams to the Browns over the last month, and they didn't cover any of them. So that's why it's down to what it is now. You're 100% right. Yeah,
And I
man.
probably would still take Cleveland.
Isn't that fascinating? Like it's
Well,
okay.
no, I guess I wouldn't because I just said they would cover. I don't know, whatever. Kansas City's mystifying on how they just keep doing this. So 20-13. What do you got?
I love it, dude. I love it. So I have been picking. I've been against all logic. I've been picking the Chiefs to win and cover for weeks, and I'm finally pulling off of that. I pulled off it a little last week, finally, but I'm pulling way off it this time, and I'm having them win by a field goal at the end, 23-20.
I mean, that's the most likely outcome, right?
Yeah, and they get there because the Browns are driving for a game-winning field goal, 20-20, under 2 minutes left, and Jameis throws a pick, and that lets Mahomes drive down for the winning game-winning field goal. All right. Anything else on Chiefs Browns, my man?
I'm good. I'm good. I
Okay.
just realized I did not do my upset, so I'm doing it right now.
Oh, dig it. Okay, cool, cool.
All right, but go ahead.
All right. So next one, Bengals at Titans.
Well, the Bengals, I mean, Tennessee's coming off one of the worst games of the year.
Yeah.
Bengals are coming off one of the better games
Yep.
of the year. And, you know, they are a better team, even though they're not great and they are horrible on defense. I think you got to go Cincinnati here as well. I think this is a pretty obvious pick.
Yep.
They've been scoring 30 every week against everybody pretty much, so I'm giving them 30 again. So
I
I'm going
love it.
31-20
Oh God, Craig, check it out. So
Cincinnati.
I'll jump right to my score. Bengals 34-20. I love when that happens.
Wow, we are on point.
That's that's 3 out of 4 that we picked the same score for the loser. That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this one other than the Bengals are a much better team than their record shows or whatever holds them back from winning the games when they don't
It's their
win.
defense. Their defense is awful.
Yeah, their defense stinks for
And their
sure.
run defense is especially awful. I think it's last in the league.
Yeah, their defense is putrid. It really is. It really is. And their offense is so good, it obviously has to be the defense, I guess. You know what I mean? But even
Right.
even having said that, they're horrible. So yeah, no, you're right. You're right 100%. Okay. So I don't have anything else about that one, do you?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So now this is a fascinating game to me. One team coming off a bye that needed a bye badly. Dolphins go on the road at the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, how unimpressive were the Texans before that bye?
Just awful for like a month.
So I got to see it. I have to see it before I get back on the train because I was big on Houston early in the year and before the year. I fell off there because they were just looking not good at all. Losing to the Jets, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Nobody loses to the Jets.
for real.
Um, well, the team that just beat the Jets, Miami, I'm like I said, I have to see it from Houston. They need to restore my faith. So until they do, I'm not going to be picking them much, and I'm not picking them against my Miami team that is back in the hunt, a little rejuvenated here, playing much better, and they need this game to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they need to just solidify themselves in the playoffs and make sure they stay in. This is the kind of game that you can't lose if that's the case. So I'm giving Houston some respect in terms of the score, but I have Miami winning 24-20.
You know, that's funny, man, because there's two games that this is the second of the games that we've talked about so far that I thought we would land differently on, and we are not going to land differently again. And we were both high on the Texans, and I think I was even a little higher because I like what's oh my goodness, help me, Greg, their coach's name, the linebacker, D'Amico Ryans.
Yes,
He was my coach of the year pick. That's
right.
not happening now.
No,
Um, so I listen. Is it's possible? Best case for putting a happy face on what's happening in Texan land is they fix some of their offensive line woes in the bye week. Whether it's I don't know if they got anybody back healthy for that, hopefully for their sake, or they got somebody trained up they signed off the street or whatever. Best case scenario because that is the big issue with this team. But yeah, I'm not calling it either. Not until I see it either. I'm right there with you, man. And I'm going Dolphins 26-24, making it close because they're on the road and they're not. It's not like they're a world beater either, but they have been playing a lot better than the Texans for the last month.
totally agree, and then our scores reflect it. Yep.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay. Oh, by the way, Dolphins win that game and they're 7-7.
Yeah, look out. They're a legitimate chance. They have a legitimate shot.
They really do, and their defense is way better than it ever has been during this current regime. So
Yep.
it's interesting. It's interesting. All right, my man. Now this might be the biggest. Maybe I think this might be the biggest point spread I've seen all year, Craig. You tell me. And it's again and it's in favor of a road team.
Yep.
Ravens at Giants, and the spread I saw is minus 14.5.
Right. And my instinct would say bet the Giants, but I'm actually picking the Ravens to cover.
Right on.
But like my instinct when I just see that, no matter what the team is bet the underdog.
Yeah, just because of the giant number. I'm with you.
Right. But then I go, then I do my predictions, and I mean, what can you say at this point? I mean, the Giants, they're just so bad. They're in disarray. They are a complete disaster, a complete mess. They want to tank. It looks like the coaching staff even wants to tank. The fans want to tank. So in Baltimore. But the thing is, if you want anything for the not for the Giants to win, obviously, but to cover the spread, maybe is the Ravens. I would say on a whole they have not quite been what I thought they would be this year. Their defense is not that good at all.
Oh, it's bad, dude. It's their run defense is above league average. It's pretty good. Their pass defense is terrible. Now, it has gotten incrementally better over the last 2 or 3 weeks, but it was so bad it's got to get way better for it to matter much. So yeah, I'm with you. The results speak for themselves, man. Like I really thought the Ravens were the team to beat in the AFC for a long time, but they've
Yeah.
lost. They've lost 5 games. I can't put them there anymore, and they're going to have to
No.
play somebody good on the road early. So, you
So
know,
the Giants, thinking of that, the Giants could cover this number. I have them just missing out. I have by 3 points. I have Baltimore 30-13.
okay, I like it. Yeah, and here's the problem with picking the Giants to cover is Drew Lock is not the guy that's going to be able to take advantage of the Ravens' big weakness in their pass defense.
Exactly.
So like you, am picking the Ravens, and I'm picking them big, even maybe a little bigger, 38-12.
Okay, just a total smash.
Yeah, it's hard to see it any other way for me.
Yep.
Oh shoot! All right, my man. Moving on, we got this is a gross one. Jets at Jaguars.
Why can't I just go against the Jets every week and feel good about it? Because they lose most weeks, and they'll probably lose this game. But a handful of times this year, even as bad as it's been, it's like, well, the Jets are the team that you got to pick here. And even though they lose most of them, going in, you think they got to win this game. And that's what I'm thinking this week. They're going to win because Rodgers is finally healthy, apparently, or healthier. He actually moved around quite a bit last week and looked good doing it.
Yeah.
Like, really was moving around. And the week before as well, he threw a block that week as well, which is crazy. Like, he
Yeah,
was out in
that's
front
right.
of a end around or something and threw a block. So, like, he's moving now finally again, and he looked really good last week. He looked the best he's looked, even though they lost. He probably will look good this week and lose again, but I'm actually going to pick the win. I'm going Jets. But if they're going to win, it's got to be ugly and it's got to be close because they can't, they're not going to blow anybody out, obviously, or win by a big number. I'm going Jets 22-19.
Ooh, okay. I like it. I like it. Um, yeah, it tells you how bad the Jaguar season has been that they're a 3.5 point underdog to the Jets at home.
Yeah.
That's really crazy, isn't it? Um, okay, here's where I'm going. I didn't know what to do with this one. I feel the same way about you about picking the Jets, but it also looks like the team to pick in this one. But I'm going to do a caveat. I haven't done a caveat for weeks, and I'm going to do a caveat here. If Brees Hall plays, Jets win 21-20. If Brees Hall does not play, Jags win 21-20.
Okay. Just writing all that down.
Oh, I lost you there for a second, buddy. You there?
Just writing all that down, I said.
Oh, we're breaking up.
I'm sorry. I literally, it seems like if I move the phone like 3 inches from one side to the other, it breaks up. I move it 3 inches
It's not.
closer, and then it's back on. Anyway, I was saying I was just writing all that down. That's all.
Wait, Craig, move it like an inch because you're kind of in and out right now.
Oh man, really? How about now?
Oh, wait, now there it's perfect.
Okay, my bad. Sorry about that,
No, all good, all
listeners.
good, all good. No worries. Well, I don't think the viewers hear that, so sorry, viewers or listeners. But yeah, no, we're all good. We're all good.
Okay, so yeah, I was just writing all that down. So 21-20, regardless, with the Brees Hall caveat.
Yes, you got it, my man. Perfect, perfect.
Okay. Also, the Jags are my upset pick.
Ooh, I like it. That makes perfect sense.
So there you go.
Great one. All right. One last 1 o'clocker, and that is your guys. And there's a special note to this game, my man. First of all, the game is the Cowboys at the Panthers, and this is the Panthers are a -1 favorite. This is the first time the Panthers have been a favorite in any game since December 18th, 2022, when they were -3 versus the Steelers.
Well, it's
How's
an
that for a
honor.
stat?
It's an honor. Let me tell you. Oh man. Well, that's the way I went. We've been talking about how well they've been playing.
Yep,
The Panthers have been playing well.
they really have.
They've been losing most of the time still, but they've been playing a lot better, putting up a very good fight. And last week, or on the last podcast, I said, if you're not a very good team and you're not playing all that great, they're going to come up and bite you, and they're probably going to beat you. And Dallas fits that mold. They're not a very good team. Now they've lost another defensive player that they can't afford to keep losing. Zach Martin's out for the year. Um, obviously Dak and everything else. And they're not. They're ready to get beat by the Panthers. They're right there, And if the Panthers play like they've been playing, I think they're going to win this game. And I have them winning this game 21-17.
Love it. Love it. And I totally get that. Um, yeah, this was, I went back and forth on this one a lot because let me ask you this. You had texted me prior to the game on Sunday that the Cowboys had their two corners back for the first time in whatever it was, like almost 2 years. Did they emerge unscathed? Are they expected to be playing this week?
I believe so.
Okay, as long as that is the case, then I am going with the Cowboys. If it comes out that either one of those guys isn't starting, I will backpedal and go Panthers. But because I'm not going to go with them if they lost Overshone and one of those guys too. You know what I'm saying? But listen, it's fascinating what Bryce Young's emergence as a not a disaster has equated to playing very much like Cooper Rush.
Yes.
Isn't that
Just don't make
interesting?
a mistake. Just don't lose it.
Yes. And when they play clean, they have a shot to win. And when they don't, neither of them are doing anything spectacular enough to have a margin of error. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I like the Cowboys defense's ability to force that turnover or two in the secondary. So because boy did they! I mean, listen, those guys came back and had to face Jamar Chase on their first time playing
Well,
together in two
the,
years.
the more often than not, the third corner, Jordan Lewis was on him.
And what the hell was that, by the way?
Well, Jordan Lewis is more of an outside corner. When all three are on the field, Bland plays in the slot.
Yeah, but you got two outside corners. What's the not as good one doing on the best receiver in football?
They don't move.
See, that's crazy to me. That's a is that a Zimmer thing or did they do that pre Zimmer?
They've never moved.
See, that's
Diggs has been on his side every play of his entire career.
Asante Samuel was like that too, and I never liked it. He was a great corner, just like Bland, but I never liked it.
Well, I'm not sure about Bland moving because when there's only two corners, Jordan Lewis goes out and Bland plays the outside. Bland will go outside or play corner, but Diggs plays the same side
Oh, it's
every time.
Diggs that won't move. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I got you. I got you. Yeah, no,
But
that's
I don't
interesting.
think I don't think Bland moves like he stays on the same side if he plays outside, but he'll play uh, the slot a lot.
Yeah, it's just an odd situation. Any like I used to say this about the Eagles when they were stuck in 4-3 only land for years, and they wouldn't take guys that were clearly better players because they didn't fit their system. Um, if you're making a choice that leads to your third best cornerback covering Jamar Chase, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, so all that being said, I'm going Cowboys unless one of those guys is out. 23-21.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a close one.
I do too. They're very similar. Like they feel like very similar teams right now.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
Okay, my man. Going to 4 o'clock. This is another fascinating one this week. Another tough one to pick. Buccaneers at Chargers.
Yeah. I like what the Chargers are doing. I really do. They need this game. I
They
think
really
they
do.
need it. I think they need it more than Tampa because Atlanta's in a free fall. Tampa can lose this and pick up the games back with what's remaining and still win the division. The Chargers are obviously not winning the division, and they need this game badly. They're at home. Harbaugh is that kind of coach where he's going to grind that into them in terms of you got to play everything depends on this. I think they will do that, and I think they will get the job done in a tight one, 30-26. And as I'm thinking about it, it's probably too high of a score. The Chargers have one of the lowest scoring team defenses in the league
Yeah. The
in terms
lowest.
of against. Yeah, the lowest. They're giving up the least amount of points out of anybody in the league.
Yep.
I'm not sure Tampa Bay is going to be able to rack up 26, but I mean the score is inconsequential. It's probably going to be a little lower than this, but I'll just stick with 30-26. Chargers over Tampa.
Okay. Okay. I like it. Now, There's a couple things going on in Charger land that are a little causing them to struggle a little lately. One is they are really feeling the loss of J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards, I love him. He's been a plugger for years, and I always liked him. But he's not carrying a backfield at this point in his career. And that rookie Vidal has not shown any massive game ability yet.
Nope.
And Lad McConkey didn't play last week, and I don't know if he's going to play this week, which is he's their best receiver. So
Well, I hope he plays this week.
I do
I,
too. I was looking for an update while you were talking, Craig, and there's nothing yet. So nothing definitive. It's early in the week, so we'll find out in the next day or two if he's practicing. But so it worries me about their offensive output for sure. But they're at home, and their defense, like you brought up, is top notch. And I think that's enough to get the win at home. But I'm going to make it lower scoring, like you had mentioned, and make it 19-16 Chargers.
yeah, that's probably more where I would land as well. Um, but like I said, the score, the score is whatever as long as we get the teams right. Um, yeah, I like it. I totally agree with everything you said. I like this Chargers team a lot, and I'd be very interested to see what they do in the playoffs.
Me too, man. Me too. Yep, they're a team for the big time team for the future too. Looking ahead.
Yep.
Okay, now next one, and I want to remember me talking about some point spreads that jump off the page, especially with the Falcons a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one that hit me this week, and I want to see if it hits you, and that is the Colts at the Broncos. Now, the Broncos are at home. They are 8-5. The Colts are on the road. They are 5-8. So let me double check that real quick. What are the Colts?
Are they 6-7?
6-7. Okay, so you have an 8-5 home team against a 6-7 road team. And that 6-7 road team has the most sporadic quarterback in football. And the Broncos are -3.5. To me, that number seemed like pretty crazy low. What does it hit you at all or no?
It does a little bit. I don't know if I would say crazy low. I would say maybe more like 4.5.
I would have, yeah, okay, and that's fair. I would have thought at least 5.5, 6.
Okay, I can see that too. Um,
And as an
yeah,
example, I'll say the Eagles are a 4.5 favorite over the Steelers this week.
right. That doesn't make sense either. Um, yeah, it is a little low. It's definitely low. I totally agree with that because Denver is kind of like the Chargers, where I'm looking forward to seeing them the next few years. Another team of the future.
Yep, 100%. And it's going to be
And
fascinating to see how the mighty Chiefs can keep them at bay and for
yeah,
how long.
and they're fighting for the playoffs as well with the Chargers. I mean, this is going to be a heck of a race. I mean, I guess they could both get in, but you got Miami coming up too.
Yep.
So this is going to be fascinating. This is going to be really interesting as they move along. So these teams need these wins.
Uh,
That's why I picked the Chargers, and that's why I'm picking Denver.
love it.
They need this win, and I got Denver winning 26-19.
26. Ooh, okay, okay. I'll come back to why I just made that noise in a second. Um, okay. I agree with everything you said. And my initial instinct 100% is Broncos, and that's how I'm going. And here's why I made the little noise. My score 26-18. However, this is my upset pick. And if I had any balls, I would pick the Colts because this number jumps out at me, screams at me to take the Broncos personally. And every time it looked like that in one of those Falcons games, it went the other way. So this could be one of those weird games where if the Colts either cover or maybe even squeak out a win, but I don't have the nerve to pick it because I think the Broncos are a way better team. So I'm going Broncos 26-18.
Yep, I'm right on board with you.
All
But
right.
I can see it. That's not a shocking loss if the Colts pull it off.
Yeah, because you get the good version of Anthony Richardson, and they can beat almost anybody,
Yeah, so not a shock if they lose it.
no doubt. Okay, all right, my man. Moving on, we have the Patriots at the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals floundering a little bit. but in another position where they need to win this game to stay relevant the rest of the way. That is such a tight division. Everybody's within a couple games of each other, and they've now lost. What is it, 3 out of 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so this is a perfect situation for them to get back. Get off the snide, get back in the win column. See where it falls. I got a feeling they're going to fall short, but they're going to stay in it because they're going to win this game. And I have it 32-20. Arizona kind of having a get right game.
Love it. Love it. I agree. I like the way you put that, and I agree. Um, Not a lot of too many better teams to get right against, especially when you're at home than the Patriots. You never know. Drake May could always go crazy, but I'm not going to pick it. No chance. And I'm going to take the Cardinals too, 24-16. And I don't have a whole lot to add about that one. I think it's just even the Cardinals, struggling Cardinals, are better than the Patriots, but they've been so up and down this year. It wouldn't stun me if they lost, honestly.
Mhm. We've got some games coming up here.
Oh, here we go, my man. Well, whew, let's start there. We got the last two 4 o'clockers, and boy, I wish they were on at different times. Um, Bills at Lions. What do you think of that?
Well, do the Bills lose 2 in a row, though?
I struggled with this so hard because of that.
Yeah, you wouldn't think the Bills are going to lose 2 in a row, but I was surprised by what happened last week. They got bit by the Rams unexpectedly.
How about it? Wow.
So yeah, Detroit's been my team to go all the way and win the whole thing. So I have to pick them, especially at home. If this was in Buffalo, I probably would pick Buffalo. This is in Detroit, and I'm going Detroit, but I am going super close. 28-27.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, man. What a freaking awesome matchup. I would have honestly I would have picked whoever was at home, like you were saying.
Could
Um,
be a Super Bowl preview.
it really could. It absolutely could. And that would it would make me sad my Eagles weren't in there, but take my homerism out of it, and what a hell of a Super Bowl it would be. I wouldn't be sad at all. Now the Lions just have shown almost, other than this injury stuff that's been creeping up, they've shown very little weakness. They have their corners have not played well this year. Their pass defense, if they have a weakness, is it. But they have safeties that are playing their asses off. So their biggest weakness has two spectacular components out of the 4 starters. So it's being overcome by the greatness of two of those guys. So
Yep,
that and the Bills just got lit up, man. So we know their defense can be beaten. And I'm going to pick a big old score here in a shootout, but close like you, 35-32, maybe a last second field goal to ice it.
for the Lions.
For the Lions, I'm sorry, yes.
That's one I can't wait to watch.
Oh, man, and damn it if it's on the same time as the next game.
I know that's the only thing that sucks.
I train myself not to allow my
I
eye
was
to.
just I was just not flexed out.
You got me, dude. You freaking got me. I don't know. I mean, I wish even one of them was at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, just
But
flex one of them out, and because the Monday night and Sunday night games are not that good.
yeah, and we have 2 damn Monday nighters again. They could have flexed out one of
Yeah, that's right.
them. So anyway, all that we're only bitching because it's two awesome games at the same time, and the second of those two games is the Steelers at the Eagles. Oh, and one piece of information, Craig, and then go to town. Uh, Pickens is not going to play, likely not playing this week again, and that's a big deal.
That is a big deal. That could sway some picks. Yeah, if he was playing, well, nah, I wouldn't pick Pittsburgh. I'm picking Philly regardless. They're at home, but I have a close game, and you would think if Pickens was going to play that he'd be able to make up the difference because I only have it as a 2-point win for Philly,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not playing, so it doesn't really matter. Um, 19-17 Eagles in a low-scoring defensive battle because Philly's defense is very good. Pittsburgh's defense is very good. I want to see Jalen Hurts get off the snide, but I don't think this is the game. I don't think he'll throw it for 105 yards again, but I also don't think he's going to throw for 300 either.
Right on. Right on.
He might even not throw for 200. I'm thinking maybe 180 and a touch, and then another rushing touch or something like that, or 200 and one, whatever. And you know all about Pittsburgh. Their offense is can be better. Can be pretty good, but they're missing Pickens. They're going to rely on that defense. 1970.
All right, man. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm picking the Eagles too. And this, it came down to two factors. Them being at home would have been enough, but Pickens being out made it easier.
Yeah.
I'm still picking it super close, but I don't know why. I have something in my head wants this to be more of a shootout. And the Steelers D they did get lit up 2 weeks ago. Um, and I think this is going to be the reason I'm doing this is because I think this is going to be one of those receivers raise a stink and an overcorrection happens and AJ Brown gets at least like 12 targets this week. And if AJ Brown gets 12 targets, he gets 150 yards. It's that simple. He just doesn't get they never give him the CD or the Jamar Chase treatment. You know what I mean? He's just not that kind of offense.
Yeah.
Which is because AJ could put up those kind of numbers, I think. But I think he gets a week of it. I think he gets a week of the Jamar/CD treatment, and he's gonna and they go Eagles 30-27.
Oh, okay. A little more high scoring, but right there, yeah. I mean, I can't see a blowout in this game on either end.
Say that again, Craig.
I said I really can't see a blowout in this one on either end.
I agree completely. I agree completely. Yeah, it just has the feel of tight to me for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
All
Yeah.
right, my man. Anything else on the 4 o'clockers before we go to Sunday night?
Yeah. You know what? I did not even realize there was two Monday night games. I thought the last two games, the two Monday night games, one was a Sunday night game. So I thought this other game, which is good, the Sunday night game, was another 4 o'clock game, which would have been all three of these games at 4 o'clock. Because this is a pretty good
Oh,
one
that would
too.
have been even worse.
Yeah.
That would have been even worse, dude. Oh, that would have been brutal. Wow. Okay, well, let me hit you with it. We got Sunday night. We have the Packers at the Seahawks. And wow, what a cool game. What kind of I mean, that could be a playoff preview, by the way.
Absolutely. I mean, Seattle at home makes it harder to pick. This is a tough one because of how well Seattle's playing. They're playing
No
so
doubt.
well the last few weeks. I mean, really coming on.
No
Um,
doubt about it. Do 4 in a row.
yeah, Green Bay's coming off that tough loss, but they played well. They're a very good team, and I think they are just a little better than Seattle. Not a lot, but just a little better than Seattle. I'm going to go Green Bay 29-20 over the Seahawks. I did go back and forth. Definitely considered the Seahawks, but I landed on Green Bay.
Okay. All right, man. And Craig, try moving your phone an inch for me again because we're starting to break up again. And but I heard most of that.
Okay, how
What
about
was
now?
your score though? Again, could you give me the score one more time?
Yep, 29-20.
Oh, and there you're crystal clear. Thank you, sir. All right. Okay. Well, I'm with you in large part. I listen. This was a really hard one because the Seahawks have been playing so well, but the Packers have been one of my top three teams in the NFC almost all season. So it's hard for me to. What I thought about was if this was the playoffs, who would I pick? And if it was the playoffs, I'm picking the Packers, and I'm going to do it here. And this very likely could be. a matchup and the location for a game in the playoffs because the Packers aren't going to win the division and the
Now
Seahawks.
that time I lost you.
Oh shoot, man! We're having a bad cell fest here.
Yeah, apologies. We normally don't have this kind of a problem. We'll get it fixed for sure. But um, just go back about 10 seconds. What you're saying?
You got it. You got it. So no worries. So yeah. So just the Packers. I lost where I was, Craig. So I'm trying to BS my way there, and it didn't work. So I'm just gonna pick. I'm.
That is awesome. That is so great.
This is. Can
I
you
love
tell? This
that.
is why I'm an old school Howard Stern fan, and I learned from listening to Howard Stern: when in doubt, tell the truth.
I absolutely love that. So yeah, if
My
you want to
man,
start
I
back in
love
the
it, dude.
beginning, go right ahead. You were talking about the Packers. You're going to pick them here. You thought about which team you were going to pick if it was a playoff game, and
Yes,
and
thank
you
you.
said you would pick Green Bay.
Yes, thank you very much. So, yeah, and that's kind of how I looked at it because this very well could be a Week 1 playoff matchup. It's a division winner if the Seahawks manage to win it against a team that can only be a wild card because they're not catching the Lions at this point. Um,
Right.
so, and in my mind, who's the better team? And it's Green Bay, even at home for the Seahawks. Even though I think highly of the Seahawks, so I'm going Green Bay. I'm making it close, 28-24.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't think from what you said you would be either if the Seahawks won, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay. Now, in the another odd quirk of the schedule, all of a sudden in Week 15 we have two Monday night games again out of nowhere. First one, Bears at Vikings.
Well, we talked about the Vikings quite a bit in the first pod about, or the last pod that we did, and about the fact that I'm still having trouble getting there with them, but Chicago is struggling so mightily, and this is Minnesota at home. I don't see a scenario where Minnesota loses this one, even with the interdivision rivalry bump or whatever you want to say. Minnesota should be winning this game, and I have them winning pretty comfortable. Well, 33-21. I did give Chicago 21, but it might be a late garbage time score.
Okay, well, we've danced around it earlier when some of our picks were pretty close, but you're not going to believe this one because I am picking the Vikings 33-21.
Are you kidding?
That is written in pen right in front of me. Unbelievable. And that's a weird score to pick, too. That's not a normal score, like
No,
28
that's a
21.
yeah, yeah. If you get 3-1 in your boxes, you're not happy.
Yeah.
Three and
That's
one
awesome.
sucks.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's awesome, man. I love that. So, yeah. So, I'm with you. Listen, the Vikings, even though even though I tried to say I'm buying them, I still, as I talked through it with you, still obviously haven't because of Sam Darnold, even though I'm trying to. Um, but I have completely bought that they're at least a good team. You know what I mean? Even if I can't put them elite yet, even if maybe we should, I but they're
they're going to
good
beat.
enough to
They
beat the
should
damn
beat
Bears.
Chicago. Yeah, because the Bears
Yeah,
are
they're good
playing
enough to
so
beat the damn
awful.
Bears at home. Who, by the way, I forgot to mention, we got zero out of their new coach bump.
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Zilch. So it is not 100% formula. We cannot always rely on that.
No.
So yeah, I'm picking the Vikings. Like I said, same score as you, man, 33-21, and that's going to put the Vikings at what will it be then? 12-2 or something like that.
Something. Yeah. Something like that. I think 12-2 is right.
I'll have it in this. I mean, that's what the hell, you know? Yeah, they'll be. Yeah, that would make them 12-2.
And we're like, I'm not really buying. It doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
so that's so funny. Yeah, like yeah, man. Well, they'll eventually, maybe they'll convince us.
Yeah, by next
Oh
year.
man,
That's when it'll happen next year.
yeah,
It'll happen
and
next
it
year.
will Sam Darnold even be back because that was a 1 year deal, guaranteed. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a fascinating storyline. But anyway, if I could go off
He
on
should
that
go
one.
back to the Jets. That would be great.
Oh my God, how funny would that be, dude? I would contribute to the contract to watch that story play out. All right, man. Last game of the week, and boy, it's not the best one for last, is it? Falcons at Raiders.
This is the game that should have been swapped out. I don't know if the Monday night can do that or not. I know Sunday night can. They should have swapped Sunday night as well. But if Monday night had the option, they should have gotten rid of this game.
For real, man. I don't know how it works either. Maybe they did. I mean, they must not have had because I mean, it's not like everybody that works at the network is a total moron. Somebody would have said, "Hey, there's better games." You know what I mean? They must. I would certainly hope they're not allowed to because there's no excuse for them not to if they are.
Yeah, there's all it's weird rules now. They the Fox and CBS can protect some of the afternoon games, and it's a whole it's kind of a shit show. But regardless, um, we talked earlier about get right games for some teams. I don't know if this is a get right game for Atlanta because I don't think they're very good, and I think they're showing that the last few weeks. But it's kind of like what you said before, where Minnesota were, they're good enough to beat the damn Bears. I think I'm sorry, I think Atlanta is good enough to beat the damn Raiders.
Perfectly put. Perfectly put.
30-18,
Love it.
giving them a
Love
little
it.
bit of a bump too, giving them really get off the snide here.
I love it, man. I'm with you 100%. I don't like the Falcons, anything about the Falcons for the last month, but I still like them better than the Raiders. um, yeah, I'm going Falcons 27-13. Now, let me throw this at you, my man. If our picks play out, despite everything we just said, the Buccaneers and the Falcons will be tied again at the top of the NFC South at 7 and
Yep,
7.
yep. I can definitely
Now,
see it,
I
but
also think
I think Tampa will win out though.
I agree. I think that it'll. You know what we should do real quick? Let me pull up their schedules because I can't. Like off the top of my head, I would say that too. But what if Tampa plays like Buffalo, Kansas City, and Baltimore? You know.
Right.
um, okay, so the Bucks. We know we picked them to lose to the Chargers this week. Then they get the Cowboys, but at Dallas. They get
That's a
the
win.
Panthers at home. Oh, dude. Yeah, the three super winnable games for the Bucks. The Cowboys at in Dallas is the hardest of their last three games because yeah, I would say so because it's the Panthers, but they get them at home, and then the Saints at home.
Yeah. So they should win all three of those games.
I agree. Yeah, yeah, and let me just pull up the Falcons, and it's funny because even if the Falcons had a similar schedule to that, I would still wouldn't feel as good about them winning the games
Right.
as Tampa. So they they get the Raiders this week. We picked them to win. Then they get the Giants, super winnable game. Then the Commanders. That's an L, and they have to do it in Washington.
Yep.
But then they get the Panthers. So two of the three are pretty winnable. So you never know. But I'm with you. I would favor Tampa big time.
Yep. Yep. And we only have one difference and then one caveat possibility of a difference.
That's wild, man, because we both picked a decent amount of upsets.
Right. We have I have Carolina, you have Dallas, and I have the Jets, and you have the
The
Jets
Brees
if
Hall
Brees
caveat.
Hall plays. But if Brees Hall doesn't play, you have the Jags, and I don't have a caveat. Just have the Jets. So if Brees Hall doesn't play, then we have two differences. And if Brees Hall does play, we only have that one game, Dallas. That's it.
And we both picked the Rams on the road as underdogs and the Dolphins on the road as underdogs. So it's not like we weren't picking things against the grain, but we just happened to pick the same ones.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
All right, hey, you
But
got time for a quick true and false here? We did a couple of them already earlier, but I think I might have two or three more.
let's go.
All right.
Let's
So,
do it.
first one, and this came from watching the Cowboys Bengals game the other night. Um, and is a guy I've had on my radar for quite a while, and I think he's criminally underrated. And the statement it is Trey Hendrickson is one of the most underrated players of his generation.
True.
Yeah, I completely
You
agree.
never
He's a
you never
beast.
hear about him when people are talking about it, the really good elite players, and he is one.
Never. And he's had 3 or 4 seasons with 16 plus sacks.
Yeah, that's crazy. And he leads the league this year.
Yep. Yep. And that's what made me think because they were talking about it during the broadcast. And then he got
Yeah,
a
he got
sack
one-
in the
he
game.
got a sack, and they said the league leader.
Yes, yes. I mean, he's a monster. He's 30 years old. He's steadfastly. They part of why I think he's underrated is because he was buried in the depth chart in his first team, which I think it was Houston. They didn't let him play for the first like 2.5 seasons, and then he finally started playing and just started producing digit sacks almost every year. So
Yep.
since he turned about 25, 26, he's been a double digit sack guy. He's a beast, man. Right on. Okay. Yeah. Um, okay. Two more. Here's the statement, and this well, I would the parameters of this is anybody else in the NFL is available. Okay. There is
Okay.
no receiver I would take over Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase, by the way, is 24 years old. This far into his career, he's still only 24.
That's crazy.
I looked it up earlier because I was like, he's probably 26 or something. He's 24 years old.
Are we saying for the rest of his career or next year? What are the parameters here?
Yes. Let's say, for the next 5 years.
For the next 5 years, nah. I'll say it's false for the next 5 years.
Yeah. I can't, I
Um,
mean, like, listen, oh, go ahead. Sorry, please.
it's a total homer thing, but I think CD's a better player over the next 5 years. I think CD's a better receiver in the next 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
Don't get me wrong. Jamar Chase might be number two. I mean, he's right there, no doubt about it. And
Hmm.
and and Jefferson's right there, all of them right there. But that CD year with Dak last year was so ridiculous and monstrous. I can see them getting back to that. Multiple. Next. Three of the next 5 seasons or something like that, where he's just absolutely a monster. And but now if you wanted to say the next 10 years, I probably would go Chase because he's a couple years younger.
Right on. Right on. Okay. Yeah, no, that's
Right. But
fair.
in
Listen,
5 years, CD will be what, 30, 31.
what CD is now, CD's only a year older than him.
Right.
He's
So,
25.
right. Yeah. So that's kind
You're
of
splitting
crazy too.
hairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both awesome. You know what I mean? It's definitely splitting hairs. Um, yeah, I would take Chase over all of them, but
Okay.
it's I wouldn't be sad to have any of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's
Right.
not one of those
Yeah.
guys.
We've got to, make sure to stress the fact that we are not shading anybody here.
No, it's not even close. We're talking about the three best receivers in the league, and I think AJ Brown's in that category if he plays in an offense that feeds him the ball more.
Yep.
And there might be another. I'm trying. Oh, Tyreek Hill would be in this discussion if he wasn't getting to the end of his career.
Right. That's
Um,
that's the problem is you said 5 years. Those last two
that's
you
why,
probably won't
yeah, that's
be.
why because that eliminates anybody in their late 20s on.
Yeah. What is
So
Jefferson?
yeah, okay, good. Well, that's a cool one, man. Yeah, I totally respect your call on CD. I would have respected it if you said you'd rather have Jefferson, and I would have said respected if you said you wanted Chase. So they're all good answers. Um, okay, and one last one, and this is the first one of what'll probably be a few coming about the NFL draft coming next year. The number one draft pick will be the two-way phenom Travis Hunter.
I guess it depends on who's picking, right?
Yes, and let me say this: he is the massive favorite right now in Vegas. Not that means anything.
Right. Well, like I said, it depends on who's picking. Do the Giants really take him?
when they need a quarterback so badly, right?
Right. Do the Jaguars take him
Yeah,
when
now
they
that's
have?
a more likely one because you do have Trevor Lawrence, right?
Right, exactly. See, if it's the Jags, then they'll probably take him. But if it's the Giants, they probably won't.
I see. I agree 100%. And by the way, I was wrong because the one site I looked at a couple days ago, I thought I saw Travis Hunter at lower odds, but it's Shador Sanders is plus 125, then Travis Hunter at plus 280. So he's second in the odds right now.
Right.
But if
Yeah.
if if the Jaguars get the number one pick,
Yeah. If a team not needing a quarterback
hmm
gets the number one pick, they probably will take him.
yeah, that's a fascinating one, man.
Yep.
I agree with you 100%. If it's a team that needs quarterback, forget about it. If they don't need a quarterback, I think it's a lock.
Right. I think it's a lock either way.
Yeah. Yep.
If you need a quarterback, they're not taking him. If they don't need a quarterback, they are taking him.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you, man. Absolutely. Love it. Very cool. All right. I think that is all I got. Yes.
Alrighty. Well, real quick, we try to keep this one a little short. It's not too bad, but we're gonna be wrapping up shortly. But I do want to mention, and we're gonna discuss a little bit here. Juan Soto. We're going over to baseball here. Juan Soto left the Yankees to the Mets, and I'm actually a little surprised on how high the Yankees went on their offer.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't get him, they gave a hell of an offer.
Yeah, they did.
Um, but the Mets went out, and I got to tell you something, especially around here, the way they're talking too. The rest of the league is on notice about Steve Cohen and the Mets.
Well, they better.
He will not be denied if he wants somebody. I don't think there was any scenario that he was going to give up on Soto if the Yankees kept upping it. I think he would have just kept going up and up and up and up and up until he got him. And he's the richest owner in the league, and he's going to get whoever he wants if he wants him that bad. And he wanted Juan Soto that bad. And he basically just all he needs is for the agent or the player to say, I'll come back to you with our best offer. As long as they keep going back to him with a better offer, he will just top it. Period.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, he will just top it.
Yeah, you're only going to win if they don't care that much about playing for the or having the biggest contract offer and or don't want to play in New York. It's the only way you're
Right.
going to win against him now. It's
Right. And Soto was obviously going to the highest bidder. And I honestly think if the Yankees kept going up, he would just keep, as long as they came back to him and said, now the Yankees are here, that he would have just, okay, add another 20 million or 25 million or 50 million. And, you know, okay, we'll go back to the Yankees. And finally the Yankees said, all right, we're out.
yeah, man. Absolutely. I think you're right, and it's a scary thing for the other NL East teams. I mean, listen, the Phils have a gigantic budget, but they're not going to be able to hang with that forever. That's wild.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, while we're talking big signings, I mean, I know they got Soto, but the Phillies signed Jordan Romano to a 1 year, $9 million contract. So let's
That's a
not
good
forget
deal.
that. I
Yeah,
love it.
that's a good
I
deal.
actually love it because Romano was a great closer, and then he was hurt all last year, so they got him on a prove it deal, and I love it.
Yep.
But yeah, the fact. I mean, listen, this guy, we haven't seen anything like this since George Steinbrenner's reign of terror. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
With
and now it's this guy, and basically he's the last couple years he's been there. He's had the highest payroll in baseball, but he hasn't been irresponsible.
yeah,
But at any given year, he can just say "fuck it." Sorry for their language. He can just say "screw it" and just be completely irresponsible and have like a $400 million payroll if he wants.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, and to the point where he can commit. all that money for 15 years when he wants to say, screw it.
Exactly.
you
Like
know,
people are like, well, now that he signed Soto, he's not gonna be able to sign anybody else. No,
they're talking
no,
about
no,
bringing Pete
no.
Alonso back the second the ink was dry.
Yeah, and don't forget they need a pitcher. I wouldn't be surprised if they get Burns too.
Yeah, man. Although I'm hearing a pretty strong Red Sox rumor right now.
Right. But
See where it
if he
lands.
wants him,
hmm Yeah, man. It's fast.
what are the Red Sox offering you? Okay, add a year and $50 more million.
Right.
Done.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see, man. I mean,
And
well, that leads to the other thing that who they didn't get was Max Fried.
yes, because the Yankees actually made that move and got Max Fried, which I'm very happy about because that gives them a hell of a rotation. Their rotation is pretty solid now. I mean, you got Cole, Fried, Rodon, the rookie of the year, Luis Heel,
Yep.
and Schmidt, who is vastly underrated. Schmidt is actually a very good pitcher. I like him a lot.
Yeah, if he's your five guy, that's you're killing it.
Yeah, he's like a three in my eyes.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Now, listen, Fried is one of those guys that is just super steady, super solid. He doesn't have big strikeout numbers. He just gets people out constantly. And yeah, I mean, it's a little scary to sign a pitcher to that long a deal, but whatever. You know what I mean? You got a great pitcher, so what the hell?
Right, and they're not done. I don't know what else they'll do. Now, do you want to hear my crazy take on why I'm not that upset about Juan Soto?
Yeah, go. I love it.
Because this is not George Steinbrenner. This is Hal Steinbrenner.
hmm
Hal Steinbrenner has a budget. Hal Steinbrenner will not go irresponsible. He would ideally like to stay under the cap. He would have gone over the cap for Soto, but he's like the once in a generation kind of guy that the rules don't apply.
hmm
Now that Soto's out, they can go get other things and do other things. Their salary right now is only $230 million. That's way under. They have like $70 million to work with for the next year
Yeah,
to
I
stay
mean,
under.
well, and you said all along that if Soto walks, you'd be fine filling that with like a pitcher and two other position players.
Right, and that would work out to be actually more than what Soto was making. But the thing is, if you had Soto, you can add maybe one other player, and you're not filling enough of the holes. You need a
hmm
first baseman, you need an outfielder, you need a third baseman, you need a pitcher, and you need a bullpen.
Yeah.
You sign Soto, you're maybe getting one of those other things, and that's it.
No, I'm with you, man. I mean, like,
And they
so
even without Soto, they might not get all that, but they'll get a lot of it.
well, yeah, they have the finances to do it now if they can get it done. Absolutely. Um, yeah, it's fascinating, and it's a it's a pretty decent year for first base. It's a pretty great year actually. There's no mega star, but there's a couple solid guys like Alonso and Christian Walker, who I haven't heard a single word about so far. Christian Walker, by the way, not
Well,
even
the Yankees
a
are the
rumor.
Yankees are in on Christian Walker.
Well, I would be too if I needed a first baseman for sure. Um,
Yep.
I like him as much as Peter Moore. Um,
Yeah, Pete, he goes into those slumps and he's just awful for a little while.
Now that's power hitters, man. It happens to a lot of them. But yeah, uh, I don't know, man. It's just going to be fascinating. Like, who do you like? No, what was the other position you said they need?
Third base.
Oh, right, because what's his face is a free agent, Torres.
Torres is gone. He's not coming back. So that means you can either get a second baseman or a third baseman, and Jazz Chisholm plays the other position.
Okay, okay.
So I'm assuming Jazz goes back to second,
How pissed
and
would
you
you
get a
be if they
third base.
signed Bregman?
I don't think they will. I've been hearing there might be trading for Arenado.
Well, they're one of the six teams. Did you see he whittled it down to six teams or whatever?
Yeah,
And both of our teams are one of the six.
yeah. I'm a little worried that they're not going to do anything else
hmm
because he wants to stay under that tax, and they are under it.
Yeah.
With a little bit of room, and what they can do is sign a couple of small bullpen pieces, and that's it. And this is the lineup, and that would be bad. this lineup needs another hitter or two, and I'm a little concerned that now that Soto's out, he might just say, "Well, now I can get under and stay under."
I understand that for sure. That would bum me out too. I mean, it would certainly like if the Phillies don't do anything other than sign one reliever, I'd be devastated. So,
Right. So even though we got Freed, that's great, and I love the starting rotation now, but we need a hitter or two, and I'm hoping that these rumors that you keep hearing about them in on this player and that player, that they do that, and even if they go over a little bit, it won't kill them to go over a little bit. I'm not saying they have to be the number one salary in the league or go over by $50 million, but if you have some good players and it gets you $10 million over, okay, so be it.
right, right. No, that makes perfect sense, and it's freaking. You're the New York Yankees, so suck it up,
Yeah, I mean,
Sign
Steve Cohen
Rutherford.
he has the most money in the league coming in as an owner, but the Yankees still are the richest in terms of the team itself, their revenue. They're the richest team.
Well, aren't they still the only one that has their own baseball network?
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, probably making a
I
ton of
mean,
money off of that, but the revenue just off of the baseball team, the Yankees are actually by a mile. They have the most money, but Steve Cohen by a mile is the richest owner from outside.
his own
And
money.
so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally, totally.
he's worth something like $18 billion or something, or 20 something $billion.
Yeah, that's like 30 Juan Sotos.
Yeah. By the way, there's projected to be four baseball teams going into next year that, as a collective 25-man group, will make less than Juan Soto.
Oh my God, that's insane. That's insane. And I know I
Yep.
would bet the Tampa Bay Rays are one of them.
I
And the
believe so. I don't remember the teams, but I heard there was four.
Oakland A's for sure.
Well, yeah, Oakland just signed Severino to some huge contract,
Well,
which doesn't make
for
any sense.
for them it was huge. It was $66 million, which was the biggest contract in their history, but is an afterthought for most teams.
True, true, but 66 for him I think is high. I would not have paid that.
Well, yeah, but it's like when they had to over for them to get anybody of any value, they have to overpay.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Plus, they're
Listen, when
playing.
I've done it,
They're the
no,
Sacramento A's.
yeah,
Are they even going to have a city in front of their name
yeah,
this year? Or are they just going to be the A's?
yeah, yeah, they're good. I
Or
don't
are
know
they
what
going to
they're
be
gonna
the
do, man.
Sacramento A's? Or are they going to just stay with Oakland, even though they're not in Oakland?
It's just a joke, man. I don't know what they're gonna do, honestly. What do they play? Did I see they're playing in like Sacramento or something?
That's what I just said. Yeah, they're playing in Sacramento's minor league ballpark,
Okay, yes. Oh my
but
God.
it's one of the biggest minor league ballparks out there. It actually holds 14,000 people, so they might not even sell that out. They probably won't actually.
Well, that's two major league teams that'll be playing in minor league ball. Well, one's minor league and one's spring training facility, right? The Tampa Bay.
Yep, yep.
Man, isn't that wild? I mean, that's just because of a terrible nature circumstance. The Oakland's because it's the just a terribly run organization.
Yeah, I'm curious on what they're going to be called. Honestly, they could still be called Oakland. They could say they're Sacramento A's right now because they are playing in Sacramento, or they can just already say they're the Vegas A's and wait and just be Vegas A's until they actually move to Vegas next year.
Do you know that the Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers combined forces during, I'm pretty sure it was World War II, um, because they just the lack of players because of the war, and they called them the Steagles.
Really?
Yep,
That's terrible.
I know, isn't it? It's awful. It was enough to piss off both fan bases, probably.
Why would they do that? That's not a good name at all.
I know the Steagles. Somewhere out there, there's a Steagles uniform on eBay, probably.
Wow. But yeah, baseball free agency is in full gear, man. I'm excited about it. I still think they do it wrong, and I hope they adopt my idea in some form.
I agree with that 100%. We remind the viewers of your idea that didn't, or listen. I always say viewers, listeners of your idea because it's a great one.
My idea is you pick a time frame, maybe a 3-week time frame, either December starting maybe at the winter meetings, until the end of the year. You can do that until January 1. And you sign that's there's two versions. That would be you sign somebody and you get a reduction on the tax against your salary, your salary tax penalty. You get a reduction instead of it counting to whatever the number is going to be. You get it at 50% off, like a sale. So everybody you get, if you sign Juan Soto to a $50 million a year contract, he only counts 25% off that tax number, or he only taxes 25 million of that tax number. The other version of it is you just pick a month period, maybe January 1 to February 1, where that's the only time you could sign anybody, period. There
Yes.
is no other time. You can't sign them before, you can't sign them after. You have that 1 month, and that's it.
See, you could talk me into both versions. I like, you know what I mean? Like I that's awesome. I love it.
But because we've been talking about it. The guy, I mean, there's guys that are out there for right up until opening day almost, and it's like, what is going on? And it takes forever to get going. There's no real like when NFL free agency opens, that like first 2 days is insane.
Yeah. It's great. It's and they do it right, and it's a dramatic thing. There's almost 24-hour a day coverage for a week on the sports channels. It's constant updates online. It's just it's a firestorm in a great way. And baseball just can't and it's they're at the mercy of the worst agent in sports history for fandom anyway, Scott
Yeah,
Boras. The year the Phillies got Harper, man, they signed him in April, right? I mean, it's just
yeah,
it's not good for the game. It's like look what happened with Blake Snell last year.
yep, and a few others.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jordan Montgomery ended up firing him.
Yeah. And I can't believe he was the only one.
Yeah, well, they got to do something about it because if they had something on that first day like football has, that would be great. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be better. To be honest, that would be better than football's.
It would
But
be outstanding, dude. And you know what? I don't even turn on hot stove or anything because I know nothing's going to happen. You know,
right,
I
yeah,
just wait for it to trickle out like one little bit of news every 3 or 4 days until the winter
now,
meetings happen.
yeah. One thing that's strange about it is why is it that football is a frantic first day? Because they have plenty of time too, but that first day is insane.
Yeah, they have that because remember when they changed the whole setup a few years back. It might be 20 years ago at this point. I can't remember, but where they had the whenever they added that for a while they were calling it legal tampering. Remember that?
Yeah,
It
yep,
was basically a negotiation period before the official negotiation period, and ever since they did that, man, a lot of the biggest signings would happen real fast. I don't know why that changed it. There's something in the structure I don't understand the way they changed the structuring of it, but it works. And whatever it
yeah,
is, they should use it in baseball or your idea or some combination of the two because they need something to make it more interesting.
yeah.
It
I
should be way
mean,
more. It should be way better.
yeah. So if the tax numbers, I want to explain that a little better because I was a little wonky the way I said it the first time. So if the tax numbers say the threshold is $300 million, and
Hmm.
you go over it, every there's tiers. The first tier you pay a luxury tax of, I think it's 10%, and I don't know what the tier number is. But then the second tier, once you go past that tier, I think it's 25%. And now I'm going to be guessing from here on out. But then it goes up to 50, so on. And at one point you get to 100. So basically every contract you sign is basically double because you got to
Okay.
pay the luxury tax. So if you get to the 100% and you sign somebody for $50 million, it's a $50 million tax on top of it. So it's basically $100 million.
Right on. Right on. No, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So that tax number is 300 to start. There's no penalty if you're under 300. So what I'm saying is if you sign somebody to a big contract on whatever date you select, that I'm saying is, the 2 week window or whatever,
Hmm.
if you sign somebody in there, you get 50% or maybe even 20% of that tax number down. It comes off.
Right on, right on. Yeah, listen, and that's there's no better way to motivate super rich people to get stuff going quickly than give them tax incentives. So, absolutely, I'm on board.
Yeah. I hope they do something, even if it's not my idea. Do something. And I've actually heard a lot of chatter of it this year. When in New York, because every day was basically Juan Soto watch,
Hmm.
and people were saying it like this is horrible. We're just waiting, and the Caddyshack meme of Ted Knight going, "Well, we're waiting,"
That was a good 10 night. Nice.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting. Um,
Love it.
Ted Knight, that's showing some age right there.
Well, yeah, I'm
Anyway,
right there with you, my man. I flashed to him. Do you remember the sitcom where he would talk with the cow on his hand?
do you know the name of it? Too close.
Too
Too
close.
close for comfort.
Yes, and I had a massive. One of my first celebrity crushes was both daughters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Jim J. Bullock was on that show too.
Jim J. Bullock, yes, who was yeah, he was hilarious and didn't know like I didn't understand he was gay when I was a kid. I
Right.
just thought he was
And,
eccentric.
and I'm also pretty sure Audrey Meadows from The Honeymooners was his mother-in-law.
Oh my god, that I didn't remember. Holy
I,
crap.
either that or her sister, but it was a Meadows was his mother-in-law for sure. I'm not sure if it was Audrey from The Honeymooners or if it was her sister, one or the other, but definitely she was on there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I used to watch that show, man. Yep. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And any Caddyshack reference, by the way, I'm down all day long.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to mention those two things. Why I'm not too upset about Soto if they actually can sign more guys, and you know if they got him, I don't know if they would have been able to sign anybody else, and that would have been bad.
Right on.
So, what are your thoughts on the Phillies? They got Romano. Are there any other rumors? What do you want?
Well, yeah, there's okay, so what they really need is they need more bullpen help because even though they got Romano and I love it, they have their two of their best relievers are also free agents. Jeff Hoffman, who's going to get a ton of money, and I always forget his name, the guy they traded for from the Angels who became their closer.
Estevez?
Thank you. Those two guys are free agents, and Hoffman I'd rather have back than Estevez, but I take either one of them back. But it might not happen because they're both going to get paid. So they need at least another top reliever or two is a big priority. They also need an outfielder of some type, preferably a left fielder. They could.
Santander. How about Santander?
Oh yeah, I would love it. Um, that would allow them. Then they could platoon. Wet hair. What's his name?
What?
What's his name? I gotta find it, man. It's wet hair with I suck so bad with names, man. The older I get, the longer they have to be in the majors until I remember their names. There's
Oh my God.
outfielders. Oh,
Oh
you're gonna know what I'm talking about too. Oh, Brandon Marsh is wet
yeah.
hair, and you knew it. You know what I'm saying right when I said it, right?
Yeah.
And so if they got a nice left fielder like Santander or somebody like that, they would allow them to platoon old wet hair with Rojas, is it? Dang it, I just had
Yes.
it. Yes. So then, I could live with that in center. If you have a nice addition in left. So there was a lot of talk too about them trading Alec Bohm. I don't know why, first of all, but then the manager came out and pretty much squashed it. Although you never know if that's just BS or not. But
Right.
I don't know why they're looking to trade. If it's true, it's weird to me because he's in his prime, mid to late 20s, guy who's had 90 RBIs plus the last 2 years, who hits in the high 200s. I don't know why it would be somebody to be looking to trade. So it doesn't make any sense to me. So I hope they just keep him.
Right. Yep. I would too. I would want to keep him. I've heard a little bit about Jerks and Profar on the Yankees' radar on a lower level, obviously not a major splash signing, but somebody who could be a pretty useful player, plays everywhere, and I wouldn't mind that at all. I like a good utility guy.
It's fascinating because here's the thing with Profar, man. I loved his breakout year last year, but it was a breakout year. Like he hadn't had even a decent season in the major leagues for years.
Yeah, he's been in the league for like what 8 years.
Dude, he debuted in 2012.
Oh my God, this is his 12th year.
Yeah, and his the best year he had prior to this year, which was a hell of a year. Um, let's see. Holy crap. Okay, put it this way. He's never batted over 254 in a season where he played more than 100 games until this year.
Jeez.
So he's a risky guy. Did he put it all together at 31, or does he go right back to where he was? I don't know. If you get the guy you got last year, awesome. I'm down, but he makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, but if you're not going to be depending on him to be a star, to be that what he was last year, and you're just depending on him to be solid and a good role guy,
If he's a
I
role
think
guy,
it's
then
good.
absolutely, it's almost no risk. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking that he would kind of be. Or there's also rumors that if they don't get any left fielder, he might actually play left field. Which whatever we'll see. If there's something that needs to change at the All Star break or the trade deadline, maybe they'll do something then. Also, Cody Bellinger is an option.
Another really risky dude who you don't know what you're getting, right?
Yep, yep. But they've loved him since he came up. There's been rumors of them wanting Bellinger every year that he's been in the majors.
And it's
They
listen, I
love him.
get it because at his best he's been incredible, but he's also, I mean, like 2022 he batted 210.
Yeah, he was like not. He was on the bench. He wasn't major league worthy for a couple years there.
Like look at
But
this look at this roller coaster ride, Craig. In 2019 he bats 305 with all kinds of great counting, 115 RBIs, blah blah blah.
did he
Next year
have
he
50
bats
homers?
yeah, damn it. Yes, he had a crap ton. And let me go back. Let me go to a real stat page here because that they for whatever reason that one that comes up first doesn't show the full stats. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, he bats 305 with 115 RBIs, 47 home runs. All right.
Yeah,
That is unbelievable. Next year, he bats 239 with 12 home runs in 56 games. The year after
I got
that,
hurt.
he bats 165 in 95 games. Then one more year of absolute crap, he bats 210 in 144 games. Then in 2023, he bats 307 with 26 home runs and 97 RBIs. And then last year, 266, 18 home runs, 78 RBIs.
Yeah,
He's
it's a
fascinating
roller
up and
coaster, but I think maybe it took him those bad years to kind of figure out that he's not a 47 home run guy. He had to make some adjustments, I think, and I think he's kind of settled in now to that 20 home run guy with a decent average and can play first base and left field. And the Yankees have needs of both.
yeah, that makes sense, man. Absolutely, absolutely. It's kind of like
You know,
a guy a pitcher that has to learn when he loses his 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
right? And plus, if he plays in Yankee Stadium, he'll probably get an extra 5 or 6 anyway.
That's a fair point. That's absolutely a fair point.
So, his numbers will be a lot more respectable at 25, 26 homers.
And he does have a way better track record of success than Profar.
Agreed. But Profar would probably be cheaper and more of an option if they make another big signing. Which I hope they do. If they give me Walker, I'll live with Profar in left field.
I can understand that. That makes perfect sense.
But I'm just worried they're not going to give me Walker or Bellinger or Santander, and they're just going to give me Profar.
Right, right, yeah. That would be the consolation. That would be the poo poo pat prize.
Yes, and try to win on just pitching, which I respect, and I do think we have a hell of a staff, and could be one of the best staffs in the league, in my opinion. But you got to have some hitters. I mean, they're going to have 4 or 5 automatic outs.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. They do. They need more hitting. I mean, you can't as up and down as Glaber Torres' time in New York was. You're letting a lot of offense walk there. You got to replace it somehow.
Well, that's another thing too. Is even though he was so up and down, and everybody wanted him out, and last year he, you know, he was terrible, and I thought he would be good because it was his contract year. And then he moves to the leadoff spot, and he takes off and hits really well the rest of the way, and then hits really well in the playoffs. He batted over 300 in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. I know, man, and that's wild. It wouldn't it be something if that just is, now he's a leadoff hitter for the rest of his career, and he's just awesome for the for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's still not even that old. I think he's like 26, 27.
Man, it seems like he should be 30. Yeah, you're right though. Yep.
Yeah, well, he came in when they got him from the Cubs for Aroldis Chapman. I think he was 20.
That's incredible. Yeah, it's funny when some of these guys have been around. You're right. He's 27. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, he's one of those guys that just feels like he's been around forever. I love that.
Yep. Okay. Well, we've ended up making this one a long one as well, but we had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs,
Love
and
it.
we'll get more into some, but more baseball for sure. We'll get the Unicorn Jordan on as these signings continue to happen. Definitely towards the end of the well, there's no deadline. I was going to say towards the deadline, but once more all the big names are signed, we'll
Yeah.
definitely get on board and do a pod.
Perfect. Absolutely. Absolutely. Plus, we'll have one of baseline with Jordan pod coming up with top 10 first baseman after we did our catchers recently.
Yes, yes, that was a lot of fun. Those are a lot of fun. Make sure you check out the baseline, Jordan's baseball podcast. We're on there doing top 10 all time lists, and the next one is first base. Make sure you check that out. Al, is there anything else to add?
I don't have anything, man. That was awesome. What a great week of football to talk about, and a great week to come, I'm sure. Can't wait to see what
Ab-
happens.
Absolutely. If you want to leave some comments, we definitely would appreciate it. Questions, anything like that, go right ahead on the right on the YouTube page. And we'll be back next week with the review and preview week 14, no, week 15 and 16. I'm getting the week still confused. Why am I doing that?
Hey, that's all right, man. Well, a couple weeks ago, I kept saying something backward like over and over and over again. So it's all good. You're allowed one slip. I had like 14.
the week the week 15 review and the week 16 preview. That'll be next week. Thanks for sticking with us on the long ones. We appreciate it. And until next time, see you later.